Imagine that light in the void with no ray to it, with no illumination. It's a speck of light. Then imagine for a moment that that speck of light suddenly starts to radiate, to illuminate, and suddenly the rays burst forth from this little speck of light. Suddenly there's motion. Suddenly there's a type of movement. Suddenly the void is no longer a void. It's altered forever by this ray of light shining forth. A ray of light shining forth in a total vacuum, in a total void, will cause and I'm using the terms loosely, but so that you understand, will cause a gravitational force. And this gravitational force within what was a void, which was what nothingness, this gravitational force starts to put things together, starts to draw energy in and organize them. But don't think in terms of gravity just as your Earth gravity or your universal gravity pulling in planets. There are many different types of gravitational forces. You think in terms of the gravity you have on Earth when you take a glass and you drop it, it falls. When you take a pen, it falls to the Earth, gravity. But you realize there are a lot of different types of gravitational forces, some that are electromagnetic, some that are not, some that are so different than anything you have here on Earth. But a gravitational force is something that brings together, that brings things into itself, that literally creates realities. So imagine for a moment all the different types of gravities, all the different types of bringing together forces that there are in all of creation, not just physical gravity. So here we have this light that had no rays, but now begins to expand and now creates a gravitational force. And the moment that there is a type of gravitational force like you have in this universe, suddenly it creates the basis for time, the measurement of motion, measurement of physical motion. Suddenly, time appears, or at least measurement of motion, because something's happened. Now, to take this even a bit further, we use the analogy of a void, an empty space with a speck of light appearing, but the light doesn't emanate, the light doesn't move forth at first until that light says, "What am I doing here?" Or put another way, who am I? Who am I? And the moment that begins, a souled being enters the void, enters nothingness, has realization of themselves, says, "Who am I?" Then the rays shine forth. Then gravity, type of gravity occurs. Then time occurs. And now everything starts working in patterns. Not all realities have the type of gravity or time that you have here on Earth, but they have their own version of it. Other dimensions have different forces at work and different, what you could say, time sequences. You see, gravity is a force that goes along with light and energy. Gravity works together with the magnetics and the electromagnetics and other elements of the planet to hold things in, to provide this stage for all of your lifetimes for you to experience here on the planet in a physical form. All in answer to the very question that was asked so very, very long ago in the angelic realms, who am I? The gravity has held everything in, including your thoughts, your beliefs, your perspective, so that you could experience in a very focused, a very contained realm, so you could experience what it was like to go into this mode, into this deep mode within yourself, and eventually come to the answer to the question, who am I? And the answer to that question is, I am that I am. You take yourself as a soul being, and as a soul being, you radiate consciousness. And consciousness sometimes is also called light. But literally that consciousness, it goes to work with the use of energy, and the soul then uses the energy to create reality. It goes through an entire process of pure energy, then activated energy, then ultimately light, then into the whole sphere of really the things you find in your realm, gravity and electromagnetics, things that hold all of this together. In a way, it's kind of what you would say a big illusion or a big construct. To you, it's very real, but in a way, it's simply just energy at work. Now, you also realize that the energy is yours. It doesn't belong to somebody else, but energy can serve one in many, many different ways. So you can create the perspective that there's this thing called mass consciousness. Mass consciousness, that is when there's kind of an agreement that you'll all see the same thing, experience the same type of thing. A tree is a tree, a bird is a bird. That's the result of mass consciousness, and it leads one to believe that you're all in the same energy field, although you actually really aren't. Now, this construct that you live within is the result of what the sense, the angelic sense of focus. The ability to have your energy in a highly focused state. Now, that doesn't mean it's forced or pushed into focus. It means you're just tuning in to a rather refined, very narrow spectrum of your own light, really. And it creates, once again, this illusion of physical reality. But it's really a matter of focus. You combine that with this whole cause and effect of the illusion of mass consciousness, and it has everybody living on this planet Earth seemingly in the same pool of energy. It's held together by gravity. Now, gravity is not just a physical thing that has a ball dropped to the earth or keeps things on this physical planet, but gravity also holds in things like emotions and thoughts and beliefs. It keeps everything held into place. And it does a wonderful job, particularly in this reality, and using the sense of focus in creating your construct called reality. Well, it's a wonderful thing for an angelic being to go and play within, to, in a way, even forget who you are, to forget your angelic background, to forget your soul itself. It serves a very interesting purpose in ultimately helping you to realize the answer to that question, who am I? And the answer, of course, is I am that I am. There is this electromagnetic field that's everywhere. You don't feel it generally. You're not aware of it generally, but it's there, always buzzing and working. And it's basically an extension of your energy, which is nothing but communications, now brought into an electromagnetic field, which is one of the four basic tools for defining this reality. The electromagnetic field is essential in this reality. And it's everywhere. It's in everything all the time. You're just so used to it that you forget about it, but you pull that away and suddenly this reality would collapse. The second field is gravity. And I would argue maybe that the electromagnetic field and the gravitational fields are essentially the same. They're just two sides of the same coin, but modern physics and science look at them as two separate things, so I'll go along with that temporarily. You have a gravitational field that, on Earth, if you drop something, it's going to fall. The gravitational field is what holds everything together. Without it, you have an electromagnetic field, but everything is just in chaos. It just goes floating all around. Gravitational fields of the Earth, of the planets, of the solar system, but also the gravitational fields of emotions. Yeah, emotions. There's a gravity to emotions and to thoughts and to beliefs and to fears and to what you feel about the future or the past. Everything has a gravitational field. There are the physical gravitational fields that you're very aware of when you fall out of a tree, but everything has a gravitational field to it. Food you eat has a gravitational field to it, as well as every emotion, every experience that you have has something, this gravity, that holds it together, puts it into a uniform and feeling or object, but also something that can then be defined. So everything has a gravitational field. Look at it like this, that energy is communications, and it's out there, it's everywhere, it's in the electromagnetic field. And it's gravity. It's something that holds it together, that makes that communication field identifiable in terms of things like a voice or music or the sound of a tree falling or anything. The gravity kind of holds it together. It's a field that is responsible for this reality. But remember, this reality is but one. There are many, many, many realities out there just waiting to be perceived by your consciousness. But when the consciousness is locked in, it says, this is the way things are. This is what science says they are. This is what my past experience says they are. This is what qualia says they are. Then that's all you're going to get. So I say, let go of everything you know about reality right now.